Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Adobe Live. We're live right now from very rainy San Francisco. Did you get caught in the rain this morning?
I have an umbrella. I always have an umbrella with me.
Oh, see, that's where I made a mistake. I didn't bring an umbrella with me, and my hair got all messed up, and it was just a bad morning.
I definitely came downstairs to the lobby and then realized it was pouring, so I had to go back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least you had one.
I'm not used to checking the weather, but yeah, I'm on the road all the time, so I always have to bring an umbrella with me.
Smart.
You never know.
No, you just never know. But this is day 2 of UI and UX Week, joined by the amazing Jackie Ho. How are you?
I'm good, yeah.
Nice. My name's Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist at Adobe, and all of you are Ashi and Raphael and Matthias and Anzi and David and Anna and a lot of awesome people. Let us know who you are in the chat, where you're tuning in from. Again, we are live in San Francisco. I know, it's crazy. There's people from all over the world. I always love hearing
that's awesome.
These amazing places that I've never been to. One day I'll make it out to all these cool places. We should go on tour, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that'd be fun. The Adobe Live World Tour.
Tour. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, he said yes.
Gus said yes, so it's official.
Let us know where we should go on tour first. Maybe we'll do that for Chat and Win. So, yesterday you started designing some pretty cool stuff. Maybe, before we get into some of the cool stuff that's coming up with Chat and Win and stuff, do a little recap of what you did yesterday.
Sure. So, so to recap what we were working on yesterday, here I have what I've been calling animal. I don't think anyone, did people, let me know what you think between, I had picked out a couple names. Names are super important. We have Animallow, Aloe Mallow, Mallow Mallow, not to be confused with Marshmallow, which I've rolled out. But if you have any other ideas,
these are mouthfuls.
I know, that's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, so let's do this. Talk a little bit about what this is, and then we will throw it to the chat, and they will come up with names.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be similar to this, or they'll be just completely different. I'll do my best to write them down. Yesterday we did that with Michael. Nice. And people were throwing out names, and I didn't write any of them down.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I will write them down today. So after Jackie kind of explains what this thing is, then you all in chat come up with a creative name, and then we'll figure something out. Cool.
Yeah. So basically, what we have. Actually, I'll just play it in the prototype.
You have to use Comic Sans though, just to mess with Anthony.
So what we're looking at is a tool for management teams or leadership teams to visualize their staffing and allocations for their different software engineering teams. So where we left off yesterday, we kind of mocked up what a team would look like. So let's say we have a team called Battlefield.
I love it.
That's comprised with a product manager, a product designer, and these 4 software engineers. You can see laid out across the board, we have who's staffed when during the project. So you have the weeks laid out here. So you can see, for example, this engineer is starting on the week of February 18th, and this designer's perhaps leaving the company or leaving this team the week of April 8th.
Sad.
I know. And so this is really helpful for teams to keep track of who's on each project when, and maybe if there's new people joining, there's rotations happening. Or we could also track, there's like a need, like, hey, we don't know who's gonna fill this role yet, but we know that on this day, we're gonna need someone to fill in. We can keep track of what those needs are. So where we left off yesterday is sort of the scenario of, hey, we see that Dora is gonna end on the week of February 25th. We're gonna go ahead and fill in someone who we know is actually gonna take over from her. So, we have this faked hover effect here where if you click add, or sorry, if you hover over the column that you want, you can see this row here, and then if you click it, you get this view where you can now start to add in who that person is. So for example, we're gonna add a software engineer, and then I'm gonna go ahead and type in the name. In this case, I'm a software engineer.
Ooh, fancy.
So I'm going to type in Jackie Ho, and then we're gonna pre-fill the date over here since I did hover over this column. So we already know we know exactly where the user wants to have this person start. And maybe in this case, I do know Jackie's only on for a short stint. So I'm gonna go ahead and click the end date, and then it was defaulted to none. I think 95% of the time, we don't actually know when someone's gonna end or leave the company. But in this case, let's say she's a contractor So I'm gonna now click that and select that she's gonna end on March 26th. Boom, and then click anywhere outside to sort of close out that row. And then you now have that bar added here to the team battlefield.
Nice.
Yeah.
Made good progress yesterday.
Yeah.
And one thing I love is a lot of those elements that you were just showing in that, you know, when you were adding a new staff member, were all part of UI kits.
Yeah, totally.
Which is great, which you know, a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't use that stuff because it's not yours, but that stuff was literally created so you can use it in your project. So if it's there already, you might as well use it. And then, of course, you can make tweaks to the visuals, the colors, and that sort of thing. You can round the corners if you want to, give it a little bit of style, but it's there to use it.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to prioritize getting all the things onto the page.
Yeah.
Because I think the design and the interactions are actually pretty complicated. I think if it was like, if I was designing like a landing page or something that was more focused on being, you know, catchy visuals and really attention grabbing, then I would spend more time thinking about the high fidelity designs up front.
Right.
But for this, since I'm just trying to get everything onto the page, kind of understand what it's all gonna look like and how the user would interact with it, totally recommend grabbing some of these UI kits that I pulled from one of the Adobe XD resources sites. So here's one that I grabbed, like the date picker, for example, and some of the select boxes and things like that. So
yeah, and there's a ton of UI kits. If you're in XD, if you go to up to the file menu, go down to get UI kits. There's you can grab one for iOS, Android. Yeah, there we go, Microsoft. Then there's wireframes and even more UI kits for almost anything you can possibly imagine, from dashboards to travel applications to a lot of different things. Auto animate, I did one for. It's cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Click to launch.
And hello to everyone who is recently joining, Sam and Bohana and Anthony, who was talking about Comic Sans before, Cedric, Igoki. I probably mispronounced, I apologize. And Eric is running off to meetings. That's sad.
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So sorry, we have a few things. So in about half an hour, maybe a little bit less now, Chat and Win's coming up, and we already have a question for that if you missed that. We'll get to that soon. And you can win 100 free stickers from Sticker Mule. And then about half an hour before the stream ends, we're gonna review challenges again.
Cool.
And the challenge for today, if you're on Behance right now, behance.net/live, press the challenge button up at the top. And your challenge today is to design an electronic book UI for a tablet using Adobe XD. So get that done. There's a button there to submit as well. And we're gonna take a look at a bunch of them before the stream ends. And if you don't get it in just in time for this stream to end, we do have 2 more streams coming up, so you can do that. Andy, welcome. I recognize Andy from Slack. We have a great Slack community.
Nice,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what are the plans for today?
So I wanted to backtrack a little bit and actually show some of the things that I did before the stream. I realized I kind of skipped over that part, but I wanted to bring everyone a little bit into the process.
Yeah.
So
I like processes.
So typically oh yeah, here we go. So I'm usually someone who, I usually work with a team. I don't really do a lot of designing and solutioning by myself. But let's say I've worked with a team. This is a problem I really understand because on my current client, I'm sort of, tactically on the leadership team. So this is a daily struggle with trying to visualize who's on what team and what are the rotations that are happening. So this is a problem area that I understand really well. From there, understanding what's the problem, I started to think about visually what I wanted to look like. And so basically all I sketched out for this was I started to think about what each of these rows would look like. I knew that I wanted something sort of to span vertically to understand who is in each week. But it was really helpful for me to just get down on paper sort of the bare minimum of the information that I would want, and kind of landed on these 4 fields. So high level, what's their role, their name, and then their start date and end date. And you can see I was playing around with doing like an infinity, like they're gonna be there infinitely. But I ended up getting rid of that because it felt sort of superfluous. Since most of the time it would be infinite,
right.
kind of.
You're never leaving this company.
Yeah. And then I was playing around with, I feel like the really natural flow is seeing when someone's ending and saying, oh, I need to add something in that next week's slot. So I really wanted that add action to be right there as I'm looking through the weeks. And so that's why I was playing around with this idea of hovering over that column to add a new bar there.
Yep.
And then as far as thinking about what it would be like to add the bar, I actually went into Airtable to look at what that might look like, what that experience is sort of like in Airtable today. So if we switch back to my screen, kind of played around with this idea of it just being like adding a new row in a table. So we'll switch over so you can see. Awesome. So yeah, you can see I was kind of playing around with, okay, so let's say the first one is a select box. What is that experience like when you select it? Do we need to tab over to the next one, type in the name, what that would kind of look like? Airtable does a cool thing where you can link different cells to other tables. So like this is actually simulates pretty well what I might want in the future if I'm trying to do something more complicated as far as like, hey, I want to look for Jackie Ho who's already in the system. And then if she's not there, you can see this add a new record.
Right.
All of this entire interaction is totally something that is super translatable into what we're doing. This is probably not a really great way of showing it. Let me switch over to the other one. So let's see. So here, for example, if you start typing, it'll pull up, oh, here are some of the people who are like, you could link in this row. So we can do something really similar, like, oh, show me the name of the person, and what team they're currently on. That's probably all the information I'll need.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll design something like that.
Yeah, totally. And I'm already starting to see, it's so weird, like using XD for so long, and you start to use applications online or whatever it might be, you start to like visualize how you would build something like this out. And this is just screaming repeat grid, right? So yeah, I'm excited. Anything that has to do with repeat grids, I get excited about. I'm weird.
And yeah, so same with the, I think the dates also, you know, this idea of having a date picker with a start and end date. And I really liked how it was just in this row. And I liked that in the design itself. Switch over. So where we were, I like that you're sort of filling in the things that are actually just gonna be in the row itself. And it's already laid out in the same order. So it's super, super understandable in terms of what that information is, what it would look like once putting in there.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Cool. And as you're designing these things, whether it's like for personal use or for clients or at Pivotal, how important is this phase when you're actually sketching things out and, you know, the planning stuff?
Totally. So I would say that for most of my projects, we're spending a lot more time not actually in Sketch. We're doing a lot more, or sorry, not in prototyping and in designing. We're spending a lot more time in whiteboarding and working sort of analog with other people. It's really helpful because when you have something up on a whiteboard, everyone can collaborate. But once you're like in a computer, it's like, oh, this is the person who is really familiar with the tool.
Right.
And so now we're just using the tool. And so I spend a lot more time, you know, doing group sketching exercises, writing out scenarios, thinking about like, you know, prioritizing the different problems that we want to solve. A lot of that is done outside of this and with other people before we actually even get into the designs. So, yeah.
Did someone just say the S word?
So yeah, yeah, I did. But a lot of pivots use Sketch.
I heard nothing. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so shall we keep going?
Let's do it.
So yesterday, I actually laid out some things that we might want to work on. So I always do this thing where I'll like throw in a text field and kind of create these like fake checkboxes to think about, oh, here are the things that I want to work on.
I do that all the time because, like, you know, I like XD or any other application full screen, and I don't like having notes on the side or anything like that. So I just put a little text field beside some of the artboards I'm working on.
Absolutely.
That way I just know what's next.
Yeah, so we have, let's see, I'm trying to think which one would be the most interesting. Also, I should probably mention, so tomorrow, if you're tuning in, we're gonna have a live user interview.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so we're gonna have someone who's actually, someone who's on a leadership team at Pivotal who deals with a lot of these challenges, come in and actually test what this experience is like. So super excited to see how that goes.
Nice.
Should be a fun time.
Yeah, we don't do that very often here.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I think it'll be fun to see someone actually like click through their prototype and sort of show maybe the behind the scenes of how, what kind of questions I might ask, how I would typically prepare for an interview. Hopefully you can help me take some notes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can do that. And for anyone who's tuning in now, if you have any questions for Jackie as she's going through this design process, definitely throw them in the chat and I will ask them. I always do that. Every time I say that line, I always say I will answer them. I'm not answering anything. Jackie
I mean,
will
you answer a lot of questions.
Sometimes.
So, yeah.
But if you have a question for Jackie, she will answer them.
Cool. So, maybe we can think about, I think editing existing, I'm not super worried about. I think it might be just a really similar version of like somehow, you know, clicking on this and maybe it just expands to this view. So you can just edit it. That might be really simple and not super interesting to test out right now. This is a big question. What happens if the row is too far right? So for example, in this case, we're kind of here, we fit all the fields in, and the elements are all sort of there. But then what happens if I am like trying to add someone on April 29th? What does that look like? Does it just get pushed over?
I would assume so.
How would that look?
Yeah.
I like how this is sort of in line here, but doesn't really work well as things get moved over. Definitely an interesting question. Talked a bit about maybe showing what it'd be like to filter by role. Maybe we'll try that. I think that's like a really important feature that we're gonna want.
Chatting about that yesterday after the stream, and this could be a good opportunity for some auto animate action.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So let's try that out.
Cool.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
Ruben's asking, what are your best practices for an intranet like SharePoint? I'm not exactly sure what that means.
I don't know. An
maybe
intranet like SharePoint. I've not actually really used SharePoint that much. Is it just like Google Drive?
I don't know.
I think so.
Well, sorry, Ruben. That was very disappointing for us to.
We're sorry. We have no opinions.
It wasn't a good answer.
Cool. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and copy the last one. So here we have. Oh, I also noticed something weird in that in our prototype. I'm gonna go back. So there's something that's going on here. Oh, I added the end date.
Oh, the dates are changing.
But I didn't actually. Oh, we were talking about maybe turning that top part into a symbol.
Oh, that's right. I think you did start to turn it into a symbol. Maybe it wasn't applied to all of them.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
Yeah, that one's a symbol.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just go ahead and clear out these. So we'll just have the same thing. I was like, something moved, and it shouldn't have. This will be great. Now that it's a symbol, I'll just change it once, and I don't have to do this every time.
Yeah, beauty of symbols.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. All right, so we have these all here, and sweet. Oh, okay. So yeah, for example, this person is ending whatever this week is, so maybe we'll want to add a date here. Let's see, what is that? March 3, 2, 1, March 1st.
Sounds good.
Cool. Cool. All right, and it is, oh, it didn't do, it just added the text field.
Oh, yeah, because so what you have to do is go back to the one that you just edited.
Yeah.
And then you'll right click and you'll push overrides. And that will update the text. Because on symbols, you can update text. You can basically update them individually.
Separately.
But if you want to push them to all the other ones, you'll have to right click and push overrides.
Cool. Awesome. But if I just move things, it'll.
Yeah, layout changes will sync automatically.
Nice.
Text will not until you push it.
Nice. Good tip.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Go ahead and tweak some of these things. I'm a big fan of using 8-point grids. Oh, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Wait, Howard
No.
is, I asked him about things that are maybe coming in XD, and he can tell me maybe.
Oh boy.
So I do all my work on 8-point grids.
Yes.
It works really well for scaling up, scaling down, as far as your margins and padding.
Yep.
Are we going to be able to shift by a number other than 10?
So I hope so.
Okay.
I know that's a big request for a lot of people, and I think Peter Del Tondo, who was one of my guests a while ago, he had the same request and same concerns. He also has been speaking with a developer who was, I don't know if he still is, working on a plugin to do that.
Oh, cool.
But I know that that's something that the team is thinking about.
Nice.
I don't have an answer other than that, but I would personally love to see that because a lot of designers work with like 8 or 16 or whatever pixels, and yeah, because right now it's just 10 if you go.
It's all right. Like, you can see that I very quickly am just like, I'll move it and then be like back 2, and it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for a multiple of 8, but
Brian is saying, don't be negative, Jackie. No, I mean, she's not being. I mean, these are legitimate requests that designers are using, things that designers are using on a daily basis. And I personally would love to see the ability to change from 10 pixels to 8 pixels or 16 or whatever it might be. So totally, just if there's anything that is missing, that's the thing I love about these streams and the XD team is that they're always listening, they're always talking to designers. So if there's things that frustrate you or that are missing in XD, just talk about them. And the team will see this at some point.
Yeah, it sounds like people are pretty receptive to feedback.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we really run on user voice. We want to hear what the design community is needing, and a lot of the top requests on user voice have either already been implemented or are in the works. For instance, hover is by far the top request, and we were talking about this the other day on user voice, and I can definitely confirm that's something the team is working on because designers want that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So now that we have this, we want to see what it looks like for what it would look like with the entire page, and then add a filter so that will filter out PM and PD.
Right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put this into repeat grid.
Now here's just kind of thinking about this as you're doing this. Once you do get to that filter stage and you want auto animate to kind of remove, let's say, the product designers and only have the engineers slide up, you'll have to break the symbol or the repeat grid in order for it to do that, but just something to keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I had assumed so, but cool.
Oh, blending modes is also another very requested feature. Would you use blending modes in XD?
Do I use blending modes?
Would you?
Oh, would I?
Yeah. Like soft light, overlay, multiply, that sort of thing.
I design a lot of like applications like this.
Right.
I don't do a lot of like things that are more for visuals.
Yeah.
But.
It's an interesting subject because there's been a few times where I thought maybe blending modes would kind of benefit my workflow, but for the most part, I don't know. But Talon, one of our lead designers on XD, which I love when he's always on stream because he's designing XD in XD. But he actually designed what blend modes could look like in Adobe XD, which is nice. Which kind of tells me that maybe it's in the works.
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that some designers would definitely need and some just would never have a use for. Like if you're designing something like this, you don't need blend modes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but I can see it, especially as XD is becoming an application more not just for desktop and mobile designs, but also for presentations and other various things. Could be useful.
Nice. So I just went into Airtable to take the names of the teams that I made up.
Hey, Peter, welcome. And very quickly, actually, I'll wait until Paco is back at his desk. We're gonna talk about the challenge for a second, and then, sorry, Paco. I wanna show yesterday's winner, because I completely forgot, I skipped over that. And so if we switch, there we go. So this is from Nils. He won yesterday's challenge, and he won a 1-year subscription to the Creative Cloud, which is great. I know, right?
So great.
So he came up with this landing page for just very simple landing page, nothing too crazy, but auto animate going on. You can go back and forth. Join our tasting event. Thought it was nice. Very well put together.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I know, look at the beer move. I can just do this all day.
It's so fun.
I know. So good job, Nils. If you are here watching, I haven't seen you yet, but congratulations. And we have probably, like, you know, now we're in a bit until the challenge finishes. You can win a 1-year subscription to the Creative Cloud. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Who doesn't want that?
Cool. So I repeated it all across. Not too worried about the fact that they're just exactly the same.
That's okay.
Other than the team names. Let's go ahead and start to create a version where we are going to, actually, maybe we should take this and put it on all of the screens. So, okay, maybe what we can do instead is, here's a question.
Yep.
So what I did before was, actually I'll just turn this into, I'm gonna ungroup this. I wanna put the other 4 teams on all the other artboards.
Okay.
Here's what I think is the easiest. I'm gonna ungroup this grid and then just turn the bottom part into a giant symbol and then copy it over.
Yeah, that could work.
The easiest.
And you want the top and the bottom ones separate?
I want them separate because this has this other row.
Right, okay,
So,
got it. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and ungroup it. And let's actually just, what I wanna do is actually, I'm gonna grab all the names. Oh, are these all? No. I'm gonna grab all the names and just fill it in with more of those fake Airtable names.
Yeah. Yeah, Bohana's saying you can use a content generator plugin to add different names, totally.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's a bunch of plugins that can do things like that, including Airtable and Google Sheets. If you have a spreadsheet of a bunch of names or addresses or pretty much anything in those spreadsheets, it'll kind of sync those columns together and match the layer names in XD, which is nice.
Nice. So I'm just gonna get rid of these as symbols. Cool. And maybe let's see. I'm gonna ungroup these as well. Cool. And the easiest way for me to select the names might be just to actually move these over so that they're all aligned on the left, and that way I can select all the way down. Cool. Sweet. What we do for realistic looking prototypes.
I know, right?
It's probably not super worth it, but I guess it didn't take that much time.
No. This is half of what designing is. So while you're doing that, we have Chat and Win. So we're gonna take a very quick break, and when we come back, smash your keyboard, type something, but type, if we were hypothetically to go on tour with Adobe Live, where should we go? So type that in the chat and we'll be right back. And we're back. So smash that keyboard. Let us know where we should go if we do go on tour. Pew pew, oomph. There you go. Where would you want to go? If you can go anywhere to stream live, where would you want to go?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. These are some interesting. London, Amsterdam. Like, what's the criteria for, like, would we have a live audience?
Probably.
Because like if we were just like in a room, then
I know,
we could literally be.
going,
I could
right?
be anywhere right now.
We could be in Japan right now.
Yeah.
I won't. That's where I would
Japan.
go.
You want to go to Japan?
I do. My
that'd
wife
be
and I are
fun.
dying to go to Japan one day.
Oh, nice. That sounds. I've been. It's great. I really
you?
want to go back. I'm willing to not go to other places to just go back.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's the one. We'll go there. A few of the team members were just in Japan, I think last week, and I was very jealous.
For work-related purposes?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're doing a presentation over there, and I was
Amazing.
sad.
Can I go?
I know, right?
Yeah. All right. Missing out.
Egypt and Flagstaff, Siberia, Vancouver. Vancouver's nice too. Paris.
I do want to go to Vancouver.
I've been to Paris.
These are also
not bad.
the North Pole. Definitely.
Oh,
stream
okay.
There.
Yeah, all the penguins can watch us.
Nice.
And Robbie Doyle is the winner of 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. Congrats.
I wonder what stickers Robbie's gonna design.
I know. Robbie, if you're in the chat, I'm assuming you are because you were pounding your keyboard. Let us know what stickers you're gonna design. We want to see them.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if you did not win, if you can still go to stickermule.com/Adobe Live 19, get 10 stickers for $1. Still
So
pretty
cheap.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seattle and Victoria.
I really liked that the animation with displaying the winner's name.
I know, it's kind of
like
cool.
the retro.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
I like it. Whoever did that, it's really cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. So while we were doing that, so I've now moved everything on the left. That way I could grab all the names. I'm gonna go ahead to the plugins and this Airtable plugin. I'm gonna say download records. I've already connected the Airtable that I just showed. And I'm gonna say update the name field. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and also grab these ones. Oh, damn it.
Oh no.
Wait, edit, redo, move. Okay, here. So I have all of these. And I'm also gonna grab, oh, it's because they're in that thing. Okay, never mind, it's fine. Download records. Cool. And see where that leads us. Yeah, it did the thing I thought. It just took the same names at the top.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was there not enough names in the Airtable list?
I think it probably just always starts with the top. And so these ones
Oh.
also came from Airtable.
Oh, you can't offset
it's
it.
fine.
Got it.
Yeah. Also, why is this one repeated? There's some weird things going on in the Airtable, apparently. Actually, you know what? I regret everything because now they're all the spacing on this was super weird.
Oh, there's Robbie. So his buddy is starting a new has some new designs in the works and perfect for stickers.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and welcome to everyone else who's just joining, Nadine and Alvaro and Joshua, and our awesome moderator, Sam.
Cool. I'm just gonna backtrack everything that I just did because
Ignore everything.
I realized I don't want to actually move all these dates because it's not worth it. We just want to simulate what it looks like to remove to filter by the role. So I'm just gonna leave this as is. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this giant bottom part into a big symbol.
This is real world designing, people. It never goes as you planned.
You just try things and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about live. You can actually see like real designers just in their element and doing things, making mistakes.
It's a lot of
changing direction.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of just moving things around, seeing what happens. Cool. Cool. I'm gonna drop this to the back, and this as well. All right. Okay, cool. So we have, oh yeah, remember we were talking about yesterday? This is starting to get kind of lost here.
Yeah, you wanted to put like a white background or
Yeah.
something to that extent.
Should we try that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a good idea. I want to actually pull in a darker shadow here too. Okay, cool. So what is the best way to do that? Should we just add a rectangle underneath
Probably, yeah.
and just drop some opacity on it?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And if you want to get really fancy, you can do like a background blur, but probably not necessary for a staffing application.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this giant rectangle over here. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna fix all the lines. These lines. They don't go all the way down to the bottom.
Oh, they don't.
So I'm gonna go ahead and grab it from over here where they are. Let's see. Nope, okay. I wanted to see what happened if I tried to copy a locked thing, but obviously it doesn't work. Because why would it? Cool, I'm gonna unlock and then now copy it. I'm gonna need to delete this. Cool, so pasted it. Awesome, great, perfect. Do the same here, unlock, delete, paste, go to the back, and I'm gonna lock it again. Cool, unlock, paste, go to the back, and lock it.
Sam saying blur and lens flare solves everything.
In our designs.
In everything.
In everything.
Yep.
Cool. And I'll don't think I actually deleted it. Hold on. Oops. Delete this. Delete it again. Okay. And I'm gonna lock it. All right. Go to the back and lock it. Probably should have just done this from the beginning.
It happens.
Cool. Oh, the last one.
One more.
Ooh.
Almost there. Success. You find yourself doing things like this quite often in your designing process?
Yeah. Well, just because I think if I thought about what it was gonna look like from the very beginning, instead of just trying to get things all on there, I would have like made them all symbols or like started from the beginning. But I feel like I'm just kind of just like wireframing as I'm in XD, so I end up doing stuff like this a lot.
Yeah, me too. All the time.
Very normal. Cool. So, sweet. So we're gonna try adding that hazy white rectangle underneath here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it here. Probably gonna not want any border. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I grab this thing.
And Guarv is asking, what are we making? Seems so complex. So for those who are just joining, I'll try to explain it while you're doing that. It's basically like a staffing dashboard for figuring out like what engineers and product managers and product designers are in each team. Is that sort of like,
yeah, totally.
Okay.
For us to visualize what's happening on all our teams. Cool.
Eric is back. Welcome back, Eric. Hope your meeting went well.
Cool. So I'm gonna drop the opacity down. What do we think? Is that too little?
Yeah.
So I can't really tell.
That's probably a bit better.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think. If I'm adding someone, do I care about, if it's someone that's not new, maybe I'll care about seeing actually what else is going on. Right, because I'll want to see like, oh, I'm gonna pull Jackie off of this other project. Maybe I'll want to see like what project she's on.
Oh.
I don't know.
Interesting.
But that could be solved a couple ways. So there's like what we looked at earlier, where
so you could be also part
you have
of
this view here, where you could say like, oh, Jackie Ho, she's currently been on.
Yeah.
She was on Brinstar, and her end date. She has no end date.
Yeah, I think it should be part of the modal that's kind of popped up here instead of something that's behind everything, because then that kind of disrupts visibility.
Yeah.
I think the white overlay is probably better.
Yeah.
And then if Jackie is on part of a project, it'll just appear in this little.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and now take that and put it on. Cool. Oh wait, I'm gonna grab these, bring them to the front. That feels very, very, let's see, 5. Oh, I have 2 of them.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, why is it not changing? Let's see how it feels actually. I'm gonna switch to prototyping, so take a look. So I'm in here, I'm looking at all my teams, cool. And I'm like, let's add someone over here. Yeah, add. I should probably get rid of the auto animate because it kind of came in.
Yeah, I think a simple dissolve
kind of
will probably
slowly
work.
You switch it out for just the transition. Cool. Oh, not 1 second. That would be fun. All right, cool. Let's try it again. And add. Cool. went away. Okay, cool. How do we feel about that?
That was looking good. I like the overlay is definitely helping with visibility.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna do the thing where we copy it. Oh, didn't copy it in the same spot. Here we go. Come up to the top. I think in the future we might, if we're still struggling with the visibility of it, we might want to say everything's pretty like light, so maybe the adding portion can be like sort of a dark view potentially.
Yeah, that could work.
We can try that out in the future.
And Nell is asking, how would you show your process? So I guess, or progress. So I guess if you're working with a team, I know you mentioned yesterday that you're kind of like always bouncing back and forth between each other. But when you're at the point where things are looking pretty good, how would you do you get in a meeting, or do you just like send in an email or PDF, or how do you do that?
So like design progress?
Yeah.
Sure. So I think it depends. So definitely not emails. Definitely always prioritize showing them in person, or like either in a meeting or in like if we have like a stakeholder check-in or something. So typically we'll have like a weekly stakeholder check-in where we can show, hey, either here's the thing that we've been working on, this new feature, and we're about to have user testing next week, and we'll like show them this is the thing that we're gonna test. Or if we've just done a round of user testing, we might say, hey, this is the thing that we tested, and here's what the user said. I feel like it's always around, we're about to test, or we just finished testing and here's the results. It's never just like, here it is.
Right.
And probably that's because we just have such a high cadence of user testing. I don't want to be designing things for too long before I'm like, do the users even find this helpful or valuable?
Then you might have to go back and redo everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So we definitely prioritize having short feedback loops. It's definitely a huge value.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then in terms of showing progress to the people on my team, constantly, my product manager's walking around, I'm like, hey, thinking about doing this thing, what do you think about adding this white background? Like, it could be at that level, like the kind of pairing that we're doing. Even better would be if I had an actual design pair on a lot of our projects, because we really emphasize teaching. So I think I mentioned this yesterday. So the client would actually just be sitting next to me.
Right.
And so we would just be going back and forth. Hey, what do you think about this thing? And we're designing it. And then if we're like, not sure about this other thing, hey, product manager, can you come take a look? And we'll like talk about it. Or, hey, I wonder how complex it is to do this thing. Turn the other way, engineer, can you come take a look at this? Like, we're constantly showing work and showing our progress. It's never like this unveiling. It's
really interesting because I think various teams will have drastically different workflows. Because I've definitely seen teams, and I've even, I think, been on teams where you can't just turn around and say, hey, product manager, come here, take a look at it. What do you think of this? You have to schedule a meeting with that person, and then it could be like several days from now, and the engineers are in a different building sometimes. It's really interesting to see how that, how close that team is working together.
I've actually never really worked in an environment where it wasn't so close. I've always been sort of in-house, actually on the team.
Yeah.
I would say that the way that we work now is definitely the shortest feedback loops I've ever experienced. But even at my, like a startup that I used to work at before, it was, if I wasn't super comfortable with just like immediately turning around, it was maybe a little bit of emails like every day or something like that. So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's different. It's definitely really different.
Yeah, if you're watching in the chat, let us know what your process is. Are you connected very closely with your product teams or engineering teams? Or is it like I was talking about, where you have to schedule meetings well in advance to get any sort of feedback? Eric likes a close team, yeah.
Same. Cool. So we added the filter. So now where we left off. So we're gonna see what it looks like to actually now show just the engineers. So I'm thinking what we're gonna have, I think the easiest thing would just to be, have like I imagine like in the future, we're gonna have more filters of different sorts. Like maybe we can toggle between like a 4-week view and like a 16-week view. I don't know if we want to look out that far. So maybe we want to just add like a filter section. Oh my gosh, we're about to move everything down and just have to do that again, but it's okay. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and, is there a way to unlock everything?
That's a good question. I wonder if you just select all the elements and just
say
like,
unlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
might
call.
work. It may not work, I don't know.
Oh, now they're all locked. Now they're all unlocked?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, cool. Sweet, so I'm gonna say, maybe we have some filters all at the top. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab this select box that we had over here. Cool. Let's see. So we have this role selection. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab these two. Cool. Oops. I didn't mean to do that.
For those asking about the Slack invite, I just posted it in the Behance chat. We've had some issues with the bit.ly URL, so that one should work.
Cool. I'm gonna grab these two. These are the things that I'm gonna want. I'm gonna go back to the screen that I was at. Boom. All right, so maybe we'll say, we'll have some text up here that'll be like, here are your filters. Filter by. Cool. Everything is grouped. Sweet. And we'll say filter by role. I'm gonna go ahead and switch this out to the other direction. And I'm gonna select this and switch out for the border, apply as border. Cool. So here we have a role filter. I'm gonna throw this over here for a second. It's feeling very narrow.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll move everything else down. Let's do that. Boom. Cool. Maybe I'll do 24. And do we think we want some sort of like background on that? Maybe we'll have like a secondary like part to this header.
Yeah.
If I throw on a background, maybe do something fun. So I'm gonna grab this color and maybe do something like that. And then I can put my filters there.
I think I mentioned this yesterday, but you work really fast.
Is this fast?
Oh yeah. I think a few people in chat mentioned that as well.
I feel like I watched some other people streaming and they seemed also very quick.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with experience. Like you're very familiar with a lot of the tools. You're very familiar with what you want in this project, so it's just like very quick.
Maybe. I like to think of it as like, you know how like for video games you have, what's the term? Like
muscle memory?
APM, like actions per second or
oh yeah, yeah.
Or actions per minute. Is that the term? It's something in gaming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had people say that I've like really high like prototyping APM.
That could be it. Like I've watched a lot of StarCraft tournaments in the past, and like their hands are just going so quickly, it's ridiculous. Kind of the same thing.
But don't be fooled. I'm not fast at gaming.
Neither am I. I'm getting too old.
I'm not super into this actually. It feels weird with how large this select box is. Maybe we just kill the box. That already feels a million times better. It's like
simple,
white
yeah.
box. What are some like single underline filters that we've seen? Actually, this kind of. This is not really, but let's see. Hide fields, filter. Well, this one's intense, but I kind of like that there's like this hover effect where like you can see that it's a select box when you hover it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do something like that. I wonder if there's a anything we can steal from one of these UI kits? I don't know if there were any select boxes in this one, actually. Maybe this other one? Let's see. You know what? We're just gonna roll our own for now. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and say we don't need that. This is now looking all very faint. Let's bring this to...
So Ariella is asking about prototypes within portfolio. So there's a few ways you can add prototypes to a portfolio, but as of I think last week or the week before, you can now embed working prototypes with auto animate on Behance or your portfolio. As long as it supports HTML, you can do that. So when you're sharing a prototype and you publish it for review, you'll just hit that copy embed code button at the very top right, and you'll be able to paste that anywhere on your portfolio. That's one way if it supports HTML. Otherwise, you could record a video directly from XD if you're on the Mac, or you can use Windows Game Bar to do it on Windows. Or you can even use an application that can record your screen and export that as a GIF. So there's lots of different ways to do it, but it depends on how your portfolio is structured and if it accepts HTML and that sort of thing.
Cool. All right, so we'll say we have this filter by role. Cool. That feels okay for now.
Yeah, it's simple. I like it.
Turn this much lighter. Cool. Awesome. So let's go ahead and see what happens next. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. Oh gosh, what do we think? We should probably copy it over onto all of them right now.
Oh, the filter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can already see this turning into like a mess.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll do it retroactively. We'll do it after we move on to the next step.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say you click on that. Now we have something that comes up like this. Maybe we want to bring back the actual box behind it. So I'm gonna say, and bring that to the front. Okay, so something like this. I'm gonna bump up. I'm curious about how tall it is on the, to keep this consistent. So a thing that I do, which I don't know if it's really common, I look a lot at numbers. So I'm like, this needs to be the same height.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I don't know if this is like a common
I do that from
thing.
time to time. It depends on the project.
Nice. I end up also doing a lot of math around, so like, I didn't do that this time, but I might be like, hey, this is like, the width of this is 1280, which you can see over here. And I'm like, I want 24 pixels of padding on either side. So I'll just go in and be like 1280 minus 24 minus 24 and be like, okay, 1232, paste that into like the width of the bar. I do this all the time.
Yeah. You can also do math calculations inside of your text fields.
In the text fields?
Like in the width and height fields.
Oh, not like in this text field. So I could be like, yeah, let's actually try that. So if I was like 1280 minus 24 minus 24. Nice.
Cool.
That's so cool. What a cool feature.
I know, it's simple, but it works.
Nice. I don't know if I actually wanted that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's keep it. Now I'm going to need to copy that part too. Maybe I should go back. Not worth it right now.
No.
But good to know. Good to know.
Was that one part of the symbol?
No.
Oh, it wasn't.
So I should probably make it part of a symbol, to be honest. Cool.
Hey, Jitu and Bohana and Munir and everyone else who's just joining us. If anyone has questions for Jackie throughout this process, definitely throw them in the chat.
Cool. I'm gonna group this together and we'll say it opens up like this or something. Sweet. I don't know if I'm super into the shadow being on that. It's intense.
Always second guessing.
It's intense.
I know.
I'm gonna go ahead and swap this out. And I think we also have a border on that, which is this color. Apply as border. That is nice. Now that I
know, right?
It is good. Okay, because I was like, oh, maybe it's just faster if I just drop it because it's somewhere on my field, but actually it's like all the way over here, so it would have been much more difficult.
Ryan, I will not answer them. I will answer nothing.
Cool. All right, so we have the role. Cool. We're gonna go ahead and select software engineer again. So I'm gonna paste or duplicate that over there. So let's say, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, copied it on the bottom. Did not realize that. And I'm actually gonna duplicate this one because I want the closed state. I'm gonna say filtered by SE, cool, great, perfect. And then let's actually break out the things. So, what would you recommend for the nicest animation for hiding them? Should we just delete them?
So I think the ones that are not gonna be visible, probably turn down the opacity maybe. Because the only reason I'm saying that, because if you delete them, they'll obviously just transition to a dissolve.
Okay.
But if, like, let's say you're on the next screen and you want to turn off the filter, you can't undelete them.
Oh, it doesn't understand. But okay,
I mean, then you can technically bring them back, but it would just, well, maybe.
Should we just try it?
Yeah.
I think we can.
Because then you can just copy and paste
like
on
really
the other one.
Cool. So.
Yeah, maybe delete them.
Maybe delete them.
Yeah, just do that.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe I'm gonna actually ungroup this symbol because I don't want to destroy everything else. And I gotta lock the back. Command L, sweet. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete these, and I'm gonna say they get moved up. So how far is this from the top? They are 18. Probably don't actually want 18, but we'll stick with it for now. Where is it? Okay, cool. 18, sweet, perfect. Okay, cool. And I'm just gonna move everything up and we'll see what this looks like. Cool, go to prototype. So
my guess is you're gonna run into an issue, but we'll get to that.
Let's see if you're probably gonna be right, but all right, cool. So what's gonna happen, so I click this and I now go to this board and we're gonna say just transition, cool, perfect, tap, okay. And this one goes to here, same. And let's see what that looks like. Oops, I don't share. Sweet. I keep going all the way. Cool. So I have my roll. Oh, I didn't auto animate, so nothing happened. But let's see. Let's change that. Cool. Let's do 0.2. All right, try again. That was okay.
Okay, kind of worked.
What did you think it was gonna do?
So because it was not a symbol on the first artboard, the previous one.
Okay.
And because it was a symbol on the first artboard and not a symbol on the second one. XD doesn't really know what to do with that because it's two different shapes,
so
basically.
You think it'll do a different thing if I unsymbol this one?
Yeah, you'll actually see them kind of move up.
Okay, let's, okay, I'll ungroup the symbol. We'll see what happens. Cool. Great. Roll. Ooh, it's some weird stuff.
Yeah, it did some weird things, didn't it?
Why does it think that the names changed? Interesting.
And the SE just like moved.
Do you think it's
around.
like a grouping situation? Like if I grouped each of those rows, should we try?
Yeah.
So if I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say all of these. Cool, this is a group. Go ahead and actually lock that. So that first one's a group. The second one is also a group. Third one, same.
You'll have to make sure that the group names are the same as well. Otherwise, XD is going to be confused.
Between
both artboards.
Okay. Should we see what it looks like first?
Sure.
Cool. It just disappeared.
Yeah. Because the group names are not the same, it just basically transitioned.
Got it. Okay. So let's look at the names. We have group 19. Should we just name them?
Yeah, maybe name that Jackie or something, just the names of the...
Cool. Oops. Dora. Keith. Tawana. Here we go. I can't even see what that is. And also can't see what that is. So use the last name. Okay, cool. Oops. And we'll do the same here. So we have, they are different. They're just like numbered. Good call. Dora. Tawana. All right, cool. Let's see what happens.
I think it looked better, right?
I think it definitely moved everything up.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
It worked.
It did the thing that I wanted to. Cool. Okay.
Razim is saying that the header bar is too bright. Visibility might be a problem.
This one? Yeah, it's pretty
Awesome.
intense.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Do you do anything to make sure that, you know, visibility and accessibility and things like that are, you know, right, proper?
There are tools that you can use, like plugins and things like that I've used like in Chrome to check. Not really during the prototyping. I work a lot with like making tweaks once it's actually like in working software.
Yeah.
Just because I think you can tweak a lot of things like in the prototype, definitely. But once you like actually get it into working software, then I'll like actually get into like the code and say like, okay, this exact hex or like this exact opacity, and then just go from there.
Yep.
And so there's like, Chrome has either built-in stuff and there's also a bunch of plugins that you can use.
Yeah, I think one of them is Stark, I want to say, for Adobe XD. There's a plugin that helps with accessibility and things like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the assets panel in XD is that you can very easily change
Just
that
switch them
red
out.
color
So
or
true.
orange. What is that, red or orange? What is that?
It's like bright coral.
I don't know.
I just realized that it's like the same as what I have here.
Oh, it's very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with XD, you can very easily change it across your entire document.
Nice. Cool. Sweet. So let's actually go ahead and just get rid of all the other ones now. To do that preemptively, I'm going to name all of these. I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll just group each of these and name the entire thing. So I don't have to name each and every one. So I'm going to say ungroup. Oh, wait. Here we go. Sweet. So we're going to group this up. And we'll say this is Brinstar SE. And I'm going to group these and say this is Brinstar P for product. And we'll do the same for these. So group, and we'll say Picto SE. And then the top group, Picto P. Cool. Group, high roll SE. Group, high roll P. Cool. Last one. We only have 5 teams. It'd be crazier if we had many more.
I know, we'd be here all day.
Although at some point I will want to see what it looks like with like 20 teams, because that is a real.
How many teams do you work with at Pivotal?
At Pivotal or with some of our clients?
Either or.
So it kind of depends. I think our clients have around like anywhere between like 5 to 20, I'd say. Yeah. Cool. So all of these, I'm just gonna copy and paste them now. Sweet. Cool. I'm actually gonna also make sure that this is equidistant. This is 27.25. What a random.
Very specific.
Very specific. Maybe we'll not do that. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the 0.5 over here. Cool, so now it is 27. We'll say it is 24.
And for those who might not be aware, how are you finding those
yeah.
dimensions? And
It's just you're holding Alt or Option. Super quick. So I do this a lot where I'm like, this is the thing I've selected, and hover over this. And now I'm seeing that it's 16.
Yep.
And I'll bump it down. Cool. So now I know it's 24. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and move all of these back up. How far is this? That's 24 as well. Perfect. Actually, I'm probably gonna want more than 24. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just thinking because for the thing that we designed earlier, we have extra space so you can hover and add the row. So maybe we'll increase that a little bit. Sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and, this is not locked, so here we go. So I have, it's not showing me the distance from there. It's probably because there's something, it's part of something else. Oh, here we go.
oh, it's on the side there.
Yeah.
It's hiding.
Let's see, we'll say 32. No, wait, what? Oh, it's not doing it off of this one. There, it does it there, but 2, 3, 4. Cool. All right, and now I'm gonna drop all of these down as well. Oh, I see it's all the way on the left. Cool. I'm gonna kill that 0.5. Sweet, all right. I'm gonna do the same on this side. So we have 24, I'm gonna bring that down to 32, or bring it up, rather. Cool, and the same here. This is 24, 1, 2, and move all of this back up to 24. Okay, sweet. So now I have all the things. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the product team.
There's always like these tiny little things you have to worry about when you're designing, you know, spacing and grouping and layer names and that sort of thing.
Totally.
But as you're kind of starting to see that all of this stuff leads up to a much easier workflow, making sure those things are all in groups,
Totally.
is going to help tremendously.
I just grouped all of those together because I wanted to align them. I don't actually need them to be grouped, so I'm going to ungroup them. And I'll do the same here at the top. Ungroup. And then the same group. Move up. Ungroup. And the last one. And to the top. And ungroup. Okay, cool. Woo!
We did it.
All right, let's see what it looks like now.
I really hope this works now.
The moment of truth. Okay. Let's see. Cool. It's so nice.
It worked.
Good
Cool.
night. Cool. Awesome. Sweet.
And then eventually, if you do decide to remove the filter or whatever it might be, you don't have to really redesign that in artboard. You can just basically copy that artboard and move it over there and then link it back.
Totally.
Yeah. So cuts out some of the work.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So we showed a filter. I'm gonna go ahead and check it off actually. Oops. So this is my DIY text editor.
It works.
Filtered my role. It happened. Okay, let's see. It is 10:12. I'm just trying to think about the things that I want to test. So
yeah. We have about 17 minutes before challenge entries.
So I think there's 2 things that I want to see if we can do. Wait, challenge entries. Does that mean I have 17 minutes left?
Yeah, well, you have a little bit more because
Okay.
we're going to review a bunch of entries in 17 minutes. And then whatever time we have left after that, you can just tackle some more things.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to say that I'm not worried about, I think these 2 are not super interesting for what I'm trying to test right now. Or sorry, what I want to test tomorrow. I might want to test the mobile view, might want to test this one, what happens if I'm filling in with an existing practitioner. I just thought of another one that is really valuable, but adding a new practitioner adding an empty slot. So saying, hey, we need someone here, and like what that would look like.
Oh, right. Like if you haven't filled that role yet.
Yeah. Maybe we'll prioritize that because that's a really common, I don't know why I checked that off. I haven't actually done it yet. So in order to do that, I'm going to actually say that we're going to, cool. For the sake of the level of user testing that I'm trying to do tomorrow, actually, I was gonna say maybe we don't need to copy over this entire thing onto every single one, but maybe we just want to.
Maybe for consistency.
Yeah.
It might.
Okay, well, let's do it. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna select this. We're gonna make it a symbol. Cool. How far is this from? 29, at a random distance, but it's okay. It's not worth it right now. Go ahead and bring this down. Ooh, actually, I'm gonna say this is at 150 from the top. So I'm gonna just select this and say, I want this to be 150.
That works.
Nope, the lock thing didn't move.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go ahead and lock and unlock. Okay, cool. Now 150. All right, cool. That gives me the space that I want. And this one too. Go ahead and lock and unlock 150. Sweet. Unlock 150. I should probably actually do this, have this copied as I go across on the artboard too.
As you're doing this, because this is very like, a lot of this is time consuming, right?
Totally.
Is there anything that would help your workflow better in situations like this?
It'd be pretty sweet if I could, actually, maybe you can just do it. So if I was like, all of these things, I want to lock you and unlock you. And then I want to drop all of you to, well, I don't know why it says, let's see what happens if I do this. Nope. -29. Why does it think that? It is doing some funky things.
I know, something must be selected up there. Something on the pasteboard might be selected somewhere.
Maybe. Well, that already was one less step. And then let's say, okay, so let's say I select these and I go to 150 and same with this. And the last one. And here too, I didn't actually do it. Cool. So, and then this is a symbol. Can you select all of these and paste them? Amazing! That was so much faster! That's great.
It's funny the things you learn when you don't...
so great.
Like
Yeah, you just asked me, how do I make this more efficient?
Well, you just did.
And I was like, oh, well, this intuitive thing would be really great, and then it actually works, which is great. Cool. Amazing. Should we... Cool. So, let's see. Let's see what happens if I want to add an empty slot. So we're going to say, let's see. Let's actually go from that where we left off. So here we have, I've filtered by software engineers, and I'm like, okay, you know what? This is not looking so good because we want, maybe there's a huge release thing we want to release for the Battlefield team. So I want to go ahead and ramp up to 3 pairs of engineers on March 4th, not just Jackie. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this and go back and copy our add hover effect. So this, copy that and go back to here and say, cool, you wanna add this person over here. Cool. I don't actually know how far each of these things are from one another. 5. Cool. Six. Okay, cool. So we're gonna add someone here and say that that would then do the same thing. So this will be pretty quick because I'll just copy over the bits that we had already going. So this will open up this role filter. It's nice, actually helpful that I already grouped them.
Would you typically add these sorts of things as symbols, or would you leave them as just groups on other artboards?
I think a little bit of both. Yeah, like I think symbols are really helpful if I think I'm gonna use it on a lot of screens and just be editing the same thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to just groups, but I don't know. But sometimes it's kind of effortful to create the symbols and keep track of them. But then
Right.
like, so sometimes it's also just faster to copy and paste. But I don't know. Symbols are going to be really great once I should probably do symbols more often, just because right now I haven't really spent too much time on tweaking like the different colors or like the font sizes or anything like that. And so that's gonna be really helpful once I start doing that.
Yeah.
So I copied over these pieces over here. So we have, oops. We have the same adding of the row. That means I also am gonna want that white fade that was over here. Go ahead and throw that in as well. Oops. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this to the front. Sweet. So in this case, I'm adding an engineer. Sweet. Move on to the next one. So I have this piece as well.
Dennis is saying it would be nice if symbols or components could have their own artboard and animation. Cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
What does it mean to have their own animation?
So I think what he's saying is, let's assume that you on like these artboards here, right? You might have an animation take place if you click on maybe the filter button, for example. In that case, you would essentially at this moment have 2 of these massive artboards that you're working on just for this tiny little animation. But if you can have, let's say, just on somewhere down below your artboard, just a tiny little artboard just for that little animation, and they can save that as a symbol, and then use that on one artboard.
I see.
If you click on.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes sense.
So there's like always the same animation within a symbol.
Right.
Nice. That's cool.
That could be interesting.
That is a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
I want that. Make that happen, team.
Cool. So yeah, I just switched over to the prototyping mode. I wanted to see how some of these pieces would play out, which was good because I remembered we need to add in for our hover effect, I want to add in sort of a transparent version of this.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, but Dennis, on a serious, he says yes. But on a serious note, there's there might be some updates to symbols at some point coming this year. So be on the lookout.
Hints.
Little hints.
Dropping hints.
Nothing too crazy, but little hints. I wish I can say more.
Oops. Cool.
And definitely go to adobeXD.uservoice.com. That's kind of where the team helps the team prioritize what features that are being worked on. For instance, hover, we were talking about earlier, is being worked on because it's the most requested feature on User Voice right now. I think it's all Jackie just like upvoting every day.
Yeah, it's just me. Do you have any metrics on like what types of prototypes are being produced, like mobile versus desktop?
We do, yeah.
What is do you have any idea what the
I don't have it
breakdown
off the top of my head, but we definitely have that stuff.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I just wanted to see what it looked like. So let's say we hover because we want to add someone else here. So I'm going to say add, and I'm going to say, okay, great, software engineer. And here is where we're going to say, I don't actually know who my software engineer is. So I want to test if it's intuitive to the user that he can leave it blank if he wants to.
Right. So you're purposely leaving this just like this to see what the user says?
Yeah, so when I test it, I'll say, what would you do? What do you think would, so I would say probably from here.
Yeah.
I would set up I like setting up like a scenario or like a task. And I would say something like, what would you do now if you wanted to actually go up by a pair of engineers on March 4th and you wanted to see what that would look like? What would you do next? And now that he's gone through that previous flow, he kind of sees that there's like this hover thing. Hopefully that was intuitive anyways. So you say, okay, I'll probably want to click here to add something.
Yeah.
And then I would say, great, so like before you click it, what would you expect to see next? And he would say, well, I would expect to see that same row appear, and I could like select engineer, and I would say, okay, great, and then what would you do next? And he said, oh, maybe he'd be like, oh, I guess then I could just click away and see it appear. That would be ideal, because that's what I would want to, that seems the easiest to me. All it would take for him to add 2 more engineers to this team would be hover, click, add, software engineer, click away, boom, row. That was just like 3 clicks. And then he would just do that again. So a total of 6 clicks just to visualize that that's what that would look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question because I can also see the opposite side of it where some people might just click off of it if they don't want to add anymore. Like, how do you cancel this process?
Yeah.
Right?
We haven't thought about that. Let's add it to our list of things.
And another thing that I just thought of is, we don't, obviously there's no hover yet. So if you instinctively know that you have this blank area to click add, right?
Yeah. To
show this fake hover effect. I'm wondering if it might make sense to add a very faint, like, kind of like a dotted, I don't know if you can visualize what I'm trying to think about, just so that they know that there's something there. Because they might not know to click in that area to activate that fake hover.
Oh, you mean when we actually go to test this tomorrow?
Yeah, like right in that area. Like if that area has like a very faint border or something, like a dotted border or something like that.
So he knows that he would have to hover there?
Yeah.
Sure. Should we try it? Sure. I want to keep a blank slate though. For like what it would look like completely empty. Maybe we can try out what that would look like. Didn't move it far enough over. Okay, cool. Let's see. So we have a border. Let's say or something, and make it kind of faint. It's very light.
Yeah, but something to that extent so the user knows that something is there.
Yeah. I'm curious about, I think I can just talk him through it and see.
Okay, yeah, if you're talking it through it,
yeah, I think it'll be okay, because I'll just, so I'd imagine we would pull up the screen, we would have a conversation about what he's looking at, and then we would say, okay, great, what would you do to add someone? And then see what he would do. Like, I would say, before you don't click on anything yet, what would you do?
Right.
And see if he thinks that, like, he could just click in here, or just be, like, completely confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true that, like, realistically, a user would just be, they would just hover over and they'd immediately see that they could just click something.
Yeah.
And so it's probably not too worried about that interaction. So I think I'm okay with us trying to, like, fake it for our user test. And those are also things that we can test once it's built in like the actual software too.
Totally.
Cool. But yeah, I added our 2 more action items. What does it look how do we cancel out of adding someone? And then how do we remove an existing person is also a thing. Or change the end date. I guess that's the same as removing. Cool. So I'm gonna say, I've clicked that and I'm like, I don't want a name and I wanna be able to click here to add a new row. So I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate that. And we're gonna kill this part. We're gonna add actually a new row. Cool. Let's say that there's another one of these. Cool. So we have, I'm gonna go ahead and bump all of these ones down. Cool. Sweet. So this one, we didn't add an end date, so we're gonna have it go actually all the way to the end. Stay over here. I don't think that actually lined up. Cool. I don't know why this, the effect doesn't appear. Oh, there we go. I think it was too zoomed out.
Possibly. Also because I think they were in
some groups going on.
Yeah, they don't really extend out of the groups.
Cool. So here we have a software engineer. We don't know who it is. So maybe we can say needed. Or we can just keep it blank.
Would there be different colors or some sort of visual other than just no name?
I think we're gonna need a color.
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll say, maybe we'll make it some gray color. Let's try something like that. Okay. I'm not super into this. Let's change this.
Yeah, it doesn't work with the gray, I don't think. That works.
That works. Okay, cool. I think we don't need to have any text maybe that says it's needed. I don't know. What do you think? Should we add something that says?
I think maybe an end date might be, if there is an end date.
We don't have an end date.
If they're not, then you probably don't need any text.
So we'll just say like this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Cool. Let's see how that feels. Switch to the prototyping. Actually, I don't need to, right? Because I already did it. So, going back. So, I'm gonna add. Okay. Add my software engineer. Oh, I didn't actually wire that part up. Ha. So, I'm gonna click this area to move on to here. And we're gonna say no transition. Cool. All right, perfect. So, add a software engineer. I don't know who it is. Okay.
There you go.
I wonder what will happen.
Fancy.
Now I'm just curious. What will happen if this actually is an auto animate? Because all of those things are named appropriately, right? So they'll just move down.
Yeah, it should move down, I would assume.
Actually, I don't know. How's the timing on it? Okay, cool. Let's try it. Boom, boom. It's so cute.
Very subtle, but I like it.
It is very subtle.
Yeah.
Should we make it slower so it's dramatic? I'm just kidding. It's
no.
It's probably annoying, actually, in real life.
So the challenge deadline did hit, but it looks like all of you busy bees, I don't know.
Beavers? Beavers is I feel like beavers are busy.
I don't know, maybe. You're
Busy
still working, so nothing to review just yet, but there's 2 more streams coming up. So get those challenges in, and either Melody and Daniel or myself and Michael will take a look at them.
How do you all design or decide on who wins the challenge?
I don't know.
What?
I'm not involved
Oh, you
in
don't.
that. But
you're not the one that picks.
no, I think some of the team gets together and.
Oh, cool.
Decides.
So you're not part of that?
No.
What? They're missing out. Cool. All right. Sweet. So we tried that out. Maybe we want to. Let's see. So we tried adding in an empty slot. Boom. We're just blowing through this. This is nice. Okay, cool. I'm gonna move those to the top and kill that.
At this point in a project,
Yeah.
you have a lot of stuff going on. You've got how many artboards you're working with? Like 12, 13, something like that.
I don't know. Let's see. Like, yeah, I think you're right. 13,
Quite a few.
14, maybe.
Do you do anything specific to keep things organized, or you just like have them all just in a line? And if
That's
you
a good question.
do, or if you want better organization, what would you want differently in XD? Putting you on the spot.
Putting on feature requests.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I can tell you what I typically do. So I do this a lot. I just kind of just like blow through it, and I can visually just keep track of like where things are. I will say that when working with other people, that is not ideal because it's like harder to follow along or all stay on the same page. And it's already getting a little unruly. I kind of want to understand like where things start and end in terms of like a scenario that I would bring someone through in a user interview. So typically what I would do is grab some text and be like, I would say like add a new known practitioner, for example. This is really small, but I'll bump that up to like something huge. And so that's like the first thing or something. And then I'll say, great, the next thing that I've been working on is, I think it probably starts over here. Yeah. So I'll say, this is sort of the beginning of the workflow for, actually, they're all kind of together, so it's okay, but maybe I'll move it down. It's starting to get crazy. This actually really helped me when I'm moving it around, or moving between artboards. But I'll just say like, the second one, and this will be like filter by role. And then the third thing we're looking at is adding a empty. So I'm gonna go ahead and move that here, and we'll say add new unknown, and just kind of like, that's all I would do.
Okay.
Some people are really organized.
Yeah.
This is what helps me. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you fishing for something?
I am.
How do you organize
I'm curious.
it?
No, I do something very similar.
Okay.
But I'm curious to see if there's anything else that you might want. Like Eric says, group and color code artboards. I've heard the suggestion of having like pages, sort of, with an XD, so you can have basically like a clean artboard for every 1, 2, 3, that sort of thing.
That
or
would be
clean
really
document.
helpful. I can imagine like, so everything here I'm doing is like what I've been calling like the team view.
Right.
But let's say I had like another one that was like people, and I would just want to see like the kind of like, maybe it was a version of the Airtable we were looking at, but I just wanted to see it in a view of like the people.
Yeah.
That would be helpful if I could actually have it in a different page.
Right, because you don't want to have to make an entire new file just for those artboards. You kind of want them in the same document, but maybe not in the same canvas.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've never, I guess.
But it's something that we've definitely heard that
It's probably pretty easy to switch
is.
between files. So maybe it's okay.
Who knows? But yeah, organization is something that we've
You
heard
could say like
that
Windows, I don't know.
has opportunities to improve.
I don't know if I would put it in my top 5 Adobe XD feature requests.
What would your top 5 be?
Hovers.
Hover, and hover.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see this getting really crazy. I'm just starting out, but if you were working with like, if this was like a 50-person company building this thing with like 5 different teams, I could see needing more organization.
Yeah. Jose says +1 for grouping artboards. I think that's something very simple that could go a long way, right?
Just being able to say, these are a set of things.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So, sweet. What should we try to do? Mobile be fun.
Mobile would be interesting.
Yeah. Just because it's something that I've actually spoken to our user about, which is like, he actually does a thing where, so yesterday I described, typically the reason why I'm designing this for desktop is I would say that like 95% of the time you are in a room with like a bunch of other directors and you're like looking at this on a laptop, or maybe you're projecting it on like a giant TV, and we're kind of going through the list saying like, okay, yeah, we need to add someone here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this person's joining when, okay, cool. And we're like having a conversation. And everything with regards to like making changes is very much done on like a screen like this. You really want to get a view of like everything that's going on in your organization at the same time. That said, there is the time where, let's say you're someone who reports to me, I want to be able to hop into a meeting, not have my laptop and say, and you're like, oh, can you remind me again like when I'm gonna join this other team? And I'm like, oh shit, like let me pull it up on my phone.
Right.
And so that would be really helpful.
I think so. So what you're saying is this entire view will probably not port to mobile.
Probably
have,
different.
Like a very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe,
what would the MVP look like?
I think the MVP, good question. I think the MVP would be basically this view, and maybe, I actually was thinking about this. So I'll like sketch it out actually, if we want to grab the GoPro. So I think the MVP would be something like by team. Let's say like, I had the team name, so I had like Battlefield here. Oh God, the angle is really strange. So let's say I had the team name here. So I had Battlefield. And then I could just see like who was on when. Kind of maybe like in the, and I could just scroll through the weeks this way. So this would be weeks. And then the vertical scroll would be more teams. So basically like exactly like this, but maybe we can think about just showing like 4 weeks at a time or something.
Right.
Because we're probably in those meetings, I'm probably thinking about like, I'm probably looking for something in particular. So showing something like this would be the easiest. And I think it would taking what we already have would port really well over to this. It's kind of like, if you think about an app like on Instagram, where there's like the primary motion is like you scroll down, but there's also like the scrolling through the side scrolling for like multiple pictures in a post. So maybe something like that.
Yeah. And what do you have to keep in mind when you're transitioning? Because if I'm just envisioning, if you grab this, shrink it down to mobile, things are going to be very small.
Yeah.
You obviously have to keep in mind sizes, tap points, and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
What other things are we missing?
I think, what other things are we missing?
Yeah, what do you have to really keep in mind when you're transitioning from a desktop to mobile?
I think the first and foremost, the thing that I really think about is like, what's the most important thing that the user is looking for or looking to see in the mobile view? Because now you just can't show like everything. You have to like really get to the information that I want sooner in a mobile view. So I would really think about that. And then I'll like probably play around a lot with like, I know you can plug in your phone and kind of open up the XD app and kind of prototype as you go on mobile. So like I would probably do something like that to check out how does the sizing feel? How does the, is this too small? Is 4 weeks good? Do we want to do 3 weeks? Things like that.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Should we try it?
Let's try it, let's see what happens.
Let's see how quickly we can get through it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in another artboard. Let's see, what phone do we want? Let's do you have a phone that you wanna plug in to, like an iPhone that you can plug in that we can see what it looks like? I don't know if we have time. This might be really aggressive.
Possibly. Let's start designing the artboard. Gotta make sure that nothing's on here that's like...
Well, I was wondering what phone you had.
Oh, at the iPhone 10.
10, okay, cool. Oh,
Turn on airplane mode.
cool. I'm gonna go ahead and grab all of these. I'm gonna probably lock and unlock, okay. Let's see what happens. And I think that to start, I was thinking that it would just be like a quick thing that you could just pull up like mobile web and not like a native app.
Right.
I don't know if it's worth it to build a whole native app for
Yeah, I mean, if
what we're
only
doing
5%
here.
of people are using it.
Yeah, most of the time we're probably not using mobile.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna say that maybe we don't need the rule piece. Cool, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of, we'll say, this is probably huge. Let's see. Sweet. Oh, I realized that there's this here, which I don't actually want on this one anyways. So I'm gonna kill that. Okay. Cool. Let's see. So how much are we looking at here? Should we plug it in and see what that already starts to look like?
Sure.
And I'm gonna maybe move up and go ahead and say this is, I'm gonna lock this. Ooh, we're actually wasting a lot of space here. So I'm gonna try to actually condense it so that it's like this. That way we just like have the team name and we can see more left to right.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Paco, do you have a lightning cable?
I'm gonna ungroup this.
One down here. What's the goal? Are we trying to link up her
Into her
PC to your
computer.
phone?
Yeah.
Do we want to show it too? Because we'll have to pull up QuickTime.
Oh, we can use the GoPro.
Yeah, so that's something.
That's fine.
Let me get your cable.
We're gonna figure out some tech stuff. Cool. Sweet.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Sweet. Awesome. This now is not the week, so I'm gonna pull over this. Zoom.
Oh, Kerwin found out. Are these Smash Bros stages?
Yeah, they are. I just was trying to think of something that would be fun and short for team names. Cool. All right, let's just see what this might look like. I wonder if, how are we gonna, okay, cool. Let's try it.
To the GoPro, feel free to get rid of the glare.
Okay.
It's right
Cool.
underneath.
Oh, yeah.
So we just move it around.
Oh, okay. How's that feel? Okay, yeah,
There we go.
no glare now. Sweet. So yeah, so it's just showing me what's on the artboard. It actually is a not bad size. What do you think?
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to pay attention to the notch, and you'll probably have to add some scrolling and that sort of thing, but
Yeah.
not
Oh
bad.
yeah, the notches.
So that's a weird angle.
Oh,
Oh, that's a weird angle. Sorry, I'm just looking at it. Here you go. It's pretty neat. So yeah, should we just try to like move this down? Like you can see it.
there we go.
You can see me changing it
Yeah, you
for
can.
the notch.
I love that it kind of works in real time.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Awesome. How do we want to, so I want to maybe put into the prototype some side scrolling and then also vertical scrolling.
Yeah, so vertical's
you
fine. Horizontal scrolling isn't in XD right now, but you could use probably a drag trigger in the meantime.
Okay. Should we try that?
Yeah.
All right. Pro tip. Okay, cool. So here we have our, I'm gonna go ahead and move these up. Oh, I didn't actually put these all underneath, so we'll do that. It's not perfect, but it's okay for now. Sweet. All right, cool. How would you recommend going about this?
So what I would do is group the entire, just the entire thing, basically. And then duplicate the artboard, move all that stuff over, and then just have a drag
So
transition.
group over all of this.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, well, I only want to drag one team at a time.
Oh, okay.
So let's say this.
Yeah, so make
I'm
sure
group-
that's all grouped.
Cool,
And then
Grouped.
duplicate the artboard,
cool.
and then move that stuff over.
Cool. Let's see. How far over? Let's do there.
So that'll be basically the first drag.
Oh, but I want to actually... Everything needs to be dragged at the same time, now that I think about it.
Okay.
Well, it's weird because you can't drag one at a time, because then what does this date thing mean? If you drag it and the other ones are still showing your current time,
Oh, that's true.
weird.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need to just like be able to scroll the whole thing, I think. That actually might be easier anyways.
I think so.
To build.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's think about, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this. I'm gonna go ahead and group all of it. Cool. And now I'm gonna duplicate this again. Boom. And let's say we've scrolled it this way. What's gonna happen if, this is probably not ideal because now I can't see any of the names.
Right.
So we're gonna need like these things to stay with them. How would you recommend showing that?
So
like the labels and things.
Yeah, so you'd probably have to go into those groups and just select those and move them back.
Okay.
I think.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And will the drag?
Yeah, it'll still work.
Okay.
Because XD will recognize that some things were moved over.
Yeah.
And so the drag will still work.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's see what's the best way to do this. I'm gonna go ahead and, should I ungroup them or just go ahead and try to grab them from inside?
Yeah.
It's already gonna be so time consuming. Maybe we don't wanna do this exercise right now. Maybe this is okay. Maybe this is sufficient just to show it to our user tomorrow.
Possibly.
Yeah. So scrolling be fine. Yeah, just to like have a conversation about it. Yeah, maybe we'll just do that.
Unless because you just want like this stuff here to remain there, right?
Yeah.
Unless you copy on this, you just select the
just
background
like the
layers.
backgrounds.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Let's do that. Okay, cool. I'm gonna ungroup this.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. See, pairing, design pairing. It's so great, so helpful. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna select just the backgrounds. So we're gonna say, it's the easiest way to select all the backgrounds. Here, and then here, here. I'm not actually getting those. The ones that are trailing behind. One more. Boom. And here. Okay. I think we got everything. So I'm gonna group that. Why did that one name?
I saw that.
Why does this one name want to be there? There's some weird stuff going on. It's okay. All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and unlock that so I can say that it goes to the back. Or sorry, this one's gonna go to the back. And this is also gonna go to the back. And then I'm gonna lock it. Okay, cool. We have a selection of all of our things. Did it work? Oh. Nope.
Ah.
That's probably why. That's okay. So I'm gonna go back. Okay, so this one is just grouped, which is why that happened. I'm gonna ungroup it and we'll do the same thing. Okay, we'll say, oops. I was trying to select all of the things out here from out here, but you can't do that. But it's fine. This is fine. I'm gonna say here, here. Cool. Then 1, 2, 3. Cool. Group and move them out.
There we go.
Amazing. It looks kind of nice, like as like a pattern.
It's fancy.
Out here. Okay. And we're gonna say unlock that, select both of them, send them to the back. I'm gonna relock that one. Cool. All right, now we're ready to duplicate this and just shift. Should I have grouped the background actually with the date?
You probably don't have to.
It's fine,
Yeah.
but I wanna move the date over as well.
You can move the date separately.
Okay, cool. Why is the, oh, oops. Awesome. All right, so we'll say here, and we're gonna move it so that March 5th. Oops. Wait, what's going on? Oh, did I already move it?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm not selecting this though. Aha, there we go. That's what's happening. Now I'm gonna move it.
There we go.
And I want March 11th. Cool. So there's some funky things going on, like Dora's not on the team anymore, and this person is not there. But let's see what happens. Let's see how it'll look. It's kind of interesting. Okay. Sweet. I'm gonna prototype, and we'll say. So you want to just select the entire thing?
Group.
The entire group.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. It's funny. It thinks it's all the way out there. Okay. Cool. And we'll say drag.
Yeah. Instead of tap, you'll want to do drag, and then auto animate's fine.
Okay. Sweet. How should we test it? Just on. Oh, can we? Whoa!
Oh, so it looks like.
It does the thing.
Sort of.
Kind of.
The
I think we need to group the top.
Yeah, the dates I think are just transitioning because maybe the layer names aren't the same or something like that. But the bars are moving.
It's kind of fun. That's cool. They actually, the whole thing needs to be grouped with the grid.
Right. Oh yeah.
The lines in the background.
Yeah.
This is fun though. Oh my gosh, I want to.
It's challenging, isn't it?
I want to make it feel really real now. Okay.
You have 2 minutes to do it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So maybe what we'll do is we're gonna go back. And you were saying that maybe that this was named differently?
Yeah, it seems like either that they were not grouped
Oh,
or the
this
names
one
are different.
wasn't grouped. So now this is grouped.
Make sure the group name is the same.
We'll call it weeks. And this one, we'll say, is gonna be also called weeks. Sick. Okay. And then we're gonna need to unlock this. What is this? Repeat grid 2. We'll call this columns. And
40 seconds left.
oh my god. Unlock. We'll call this also columns. Sweet. All right. So we're gonna want this, and this to all move over. So we're gonna say that it goes to March 11th. Sweet. There's some weird things going on with the spacing.
That's okay.
But it's okay. All right. Now let's try it. Cool. Oh, we're just doing it on here.
Was the prototype linked up?
I think so. Yeah. Right? Yes. Nope. Yes.
Nope.
Oh. Here we go. Cool.
Perfect.
All
Okay,
right.
try it. Oh, it works.
Whoa. Wow.
Fancy.
This is so cool. Oh my god, it feels so real. What? So fun. Nice.
Cool.
Perfect.
Awesome. So with that being said, that'll wrap up day 2 for Jackie. You have fun?
Yeah.
That was challenging.
I like this.
But that was
Really
it's all
pushed
part of the
ourselves.
design
Did so many
process, you know,
things.
these little tiny tweaks and going back and designing and redesigning and all that fun stuff. So we'll be back tomorrow
Yes.
with day 3.
Yes,
So,
and a
cool.
live user interview.
Live
So
user
stay
interview.
tuned.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
fun. And stick around for Melody and Daniel coming up in just a few minutes. We'll see you all later.